Governments in many parts of the world continue to target religious minorities using a host of methods, including torture, beatings, unlawful surveillance, and so-called re-education camps. They also continue to engage in other forms of discrimination on the basis of faith or lack of faith, like excluding religious minorities from certain professions or forcing them to work during times of religious observance. Governments use anti-conversion, blasphemy, apostasy laws, which ban the act of leaving a faith to justify harassment against those who don't follow their particular interpretation of a theology, often weaponizing those laws against humanists, atheists, and LGBTQI+ individuals. Around the world, citizens and civil society organizations stepped up to counter these acts, often at great personal risk. NGOs like Campaign for Uyghurs and Uyghur Human Rights Project are documenting the genocide and crimes against humanity against predominantly Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang, China. Human rights defenders are sounding the alarm on attacks on the Catholic Church by the Ortega Murillo regime in Nicaragua. Lawyer Martha Patricia Molina Montenegro's reporting exposed more than 160 attacks against the church and its members since in 2022, from desecrations to arbitrary arrests. One of those unjustly detained was Rolando Alvarez, a bishop who criticized the regime's crackdown on civil and religious liberties and was promptly labeled a traitor to the homeland and sentenced to 26 years in jail. People across Iran, led by young women, continue peaceful protests demanding their human rights, including freedom of religion, galvanized by the killing of Mahsa Amini, who was arrested by the so-called morality police because her hijab did not fully cover her hair. Amidst the Burma military regime's ongoing repression of religious minorities, thousands of teachers from Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, and other religious backgrounds continue to teach the importance of human rights, including religious freedom and respect between religions. The United States will continue to stand with and support these brave advocates for religious freedom. We'll keep advocating for religious freedom in countries where the rights are under attack, both publicly and directly in our engagement with government officials. We'll keep working to defend and promote religious freedom here at home, including through the interagency group that President Biden created in December to combat religious bias and discrimination. We defend the right to believe or to not believe, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because of the extraordinary good that people of faith can do in our societies and around the world, to promote peace, to care for the sick, to protect our planet, to expand opportunity for underserved communities.
Our report also describes our response. We address these concerns directly with governments. We meet with and listen to victims. We partner with civil society, and we also urge other countries and multilateral organizations to speak up, to build coalitions, and decry violations and abuses of the freedom of religion or belief. As we do this work of advocating for people all around the world, we are sometimes asked, who are you as the United States to speak to other countries about their human rights conditions? Well, I believe that we are uniquely situated to stand up for religious freedom around the world for a number of reasons. First of all, we are ourselves a country founded on religious freedom, founded by individuals fleeing religious persecution themselves. They felt so strongly about this right that they enshrined it in the First Amendment in our Constitution's Bill of Rights. And we are a country of immigrants. People come to the United States from all around the world and demand that their elected representatives and government officials promote our values in their homelands. They would have it no other way. So who are we to stand up for religious freedom around the world? In many ways, we are representatives of the rest of the world gathered here in the United States. And we also don't walk away from discussing our efforts to form a more perfect union here at home. A second theme and trend the report highlights is the increase of government restrictions on access to holy sites and places of worship. We have all seen the sad pictures of Ukraine's civilians sifting through the rubble of their beautiful and historic churches, destroyed by Russia's brutal war of aggression. Uyghurs have witnessed the PRC government destroy or repurpose their mosques or cemeteries. Authorities also destroyed the monasteries of Tibetan Buddhists and expelled monks and nuns. On my trip to Jerusalem and the West Bank last month, I joined services at Al-Aqsa Mosque, attended the Holy Fire ceremony at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and visited the Western Wall during the convergence of Ramadan, Orthodox Easter, and Passover. I sat down with government leaders as well as leaders of the Christian, Jewish, and Muslim communities to discuss the importance of religious coexistence and protecting access to these religious sites. Third, many countries continue to legislate and enforce apostasy, blasphemy, and anti-conversion laws and related policies. These laws are direct attacks on the right to freedom of religion or belief. They criminalize religious expression and justify discrimination and harassment against members of minority religious groups or others who do not conform with the dictates of the approved theology. Fourth, the report shines a light on the need for governments to ensure equal access to primary services for all, including education. Despite the near universal consensus among Islamic scholars regarding the right to education for women and girls, the Taliban, in the name of religion, continues to rob women and girls of this fundamental right. In Nigeria, yesterday, Leah Sharifu turned 20 years old, but remains captive to the Islamic State in West Africa province after being kidnapped 6 years ago. On the sidelines of last year's UN General Assembly, I unveiled Pathways to Respect, an effort that highlights the importance of educational initiatives to prevent and combat hatred. Many of these efforts, such as the 2016 Marrakesh Declaration, play a critical role in educating publics broadly, not just in the formalistic classroom setting, on the rights of religious minorities. I would be remiss not to mention the countless young people who have been forced to flee their homes based on their beliefs regarding religion and find themselves locked out of any education at all